The phone buzzes between the ham and the potatoes. Christmas dinner at the Velden house, complete with my mother-in-law's passive-aggressive commentary about the gravy and my father-in-law's third bourbon. Snow falls outside our picture windows, and everything looks perfect. Looks being the operative word. Tessa glances at the screen. Her face changes, just for a second, but I catch it. That little spark of excitement she used to get when I called her. Now it's reserved for someone else. I have to take this, she says, already standing. Work emergency. Work emergency. On Christmas Day. Right. I check my watch as she disappears into the kitchen. 7:43 p.m. Let's see how long this emergency lasts. Her sister Maren shifts in her seat, avoiding my eyes. She's been doing that a lot lately. Guilt has a way of making people transparent. More wine, Cole? Tessa's mother asks, her voice tight with the kind of forced cheer that comes from pretending everything's fine when it's clearly not. Sure, Margaret. I hold out my glass and listen to Tessa's voice drift from the kitchen. She's using her soft voice, the one she used to use with me. 20 minutes pass. The conversation around the table grows strained. Maren keeps glancing toward the kitchen. Her parents exchange looks. I eat my ham and count the seconds. 30 minutes. I can hear Tessa laughing now. That genuine laugh that's become so rare at this table. 40 minutes. I stand up and clear my plate, walk to the kitchen. Tessa's sitting on the counter, phone pressed to her ear, completely absorbed. I know. I miss you too, she's saying. She sees me and straightens. Listen, I have to go, family stuff, but I'll call you later, okay? She hangs up and slides off the counter. Sorry, honey. Crisis at the Morrison account. You know how it is. I know exactly how it is. 45 minutes. For a work call. On Christmas. No problem, I tell her. I understand completely. And I do. I understand that Damon Harlow calls every holiday. I understand that my wife leaves the table every time. I understand that I've been timing these calls since September, and they're getting longer. Most of all, I understand that I'm done pretending I don't notice. Tessa returns to the table, all smiles and apologies. Her parents accept her explanation without question. They always do. Maren stares at her plate. Everything okay at work, sweetheart? Her father asks. Just the usual client drama. Nothing I can't handle. She's good at this. Smooth. Practiced. How many times has she used that exact phrase? I excuse myself to use the bathroom and slip into my home office instead. My laptop's still open from this morning. I pull up our phone records. Joint account. My name on the bill. 14 pages print out while Tessa tells some story about her co-worker's Christmas party. I grab a yellow highlighter from my desk drawer. 847 calls to the same number this year. Damon Harlow's number. I've had it memorized for months. I highlight each one. The pattern emerges like a roadmap of betrayal. Every holiday, every anniversary, every day I worked late or traveled for business. Christmas Eve, 3 hours, while I wrapped her gifts. Thanksgiving, while I carved the turkey. Our anniversary, while I made dinner reservations. The longest call was October 15th, 4 hours and 12 minutes, the day I thought she had food poisoning. I fold the pages carefully and slip them into my jacket pocket. Then I walk to the hall closet and grab my coat. Cole? Maren's voice behind me. She's standing in the doorway, wringing her hands. Where are you going? Getting some air. It's snowing pretty hard out there. I'll be fine. She steps closer, lowers her voice. Cole, How many times, Maren? Her face goes pale. What? How many times have you covered for her, when she said she was with you but wasn't? Maren's silence is answer enough. I walk past her to the dining room. Tessa's animated now, telling her parents about some conference she's attending next month. Another lie, probably. She's gotten so good at them. I'm heading out for a bit, I announce. Tessa barely glances up. Okay, honey. Drive safe. I grab her car keys from the hook by the door, her precious Lexus, the one I bought her 3 years ago for her promotion. Cash. My name's still on the title. The snow's coming down harder now, but the roads aren't too bad yet. I drive slowly, carefully. No point in having an accident now. I've got things to do. My brother Danny lives 20 minutes away. He's working late in his garage, some classic car restoration project. The garage door's open, and I can see him bent over an engine block. Cole? He straightens up, wiping his hands on a rag. What are you doing here? Thought you had the family dinner tonight. Change of plans. I pull Tessa's Lexus into the empty bay. Mind if I park this here for a while? How long's a while? Indefinitely. Danny looks from me to the car and back again. He's 5 years older, been through his own relationship drama. He doesn't ask questions. Keys go on the hook, he says, pointing to a pegboard on the wall. I hang them up and pull out my phone. One text to Tessa. Damon can pick you up. I'm sure he's available. Then I turn off the phone and walk home through the snow. The house is quiet when I get back. Tessa's car isn't in the driveway because it's sitting in Danny's garage. Her parents' car is gone too. Good. I need some time. I go upstairs to our bedroom and pack a bag. Not much, just enough for a few days. Then I head to the basement and retrieve something I've been saving. The gift is already wrapped. Red paper, silver bow. I wrapped it this morning while Tessa was running errands, probably meeting Damon for coffee, or more. I place it carefully under the tree, adjusting the tag so it's clearly visible. For my wife. Inside the red wrapping paper are divorce documents, filed yesterday at the county clerk's office. Everything's been prepared for weeks. I just needed the right moment. The phone bill forms the outer layer of wrapping. All those highlighted calls, all those lies, all those times she looked me in the eye and lied about where she'd been, who she'd talked to, what she was doing. Christmas morning was supposed to be just for us. That's what she always said. Christmas is our time, Cole. Just us. Except it never was just us. Damon was always there. A voice on the phone, a secret in her pocket, a lie on her lips. I sit in my chair and look at the tree. All those gifts I bought her. The jewelry, the books, the perfume she likes. $800 worth of presents for a woman who's been planning to leave me for months. Because that's what this is about. I figured it out last week when I found the apartment listings in her browser history. All downtown. All one bedroom. All near Damon's office. She's been planning her exit strategy while I've been planning our future. The front door opens. Tessa's voice carries from the hallway. Cole? Cole, where are you? I don't answer. Let her figure it out. Your car's here, but mine's gone. What the? She stops. She's seen the gift. I hear the paper tearing, the sharp intake of breath, the rustle of pages. Oh my God, oh my God. Her footsteps on the stairs, fast, desperate. Cole! Cole! But I'm not there anymore. I left through the back door while she was reading. I'm walking through the snow to Danny's house, where my truck is parked, where my brother will ask no questions and offer me his couch for as long as I need it. My phone buzzes in my pocket. 17 missed calls from Tessa. 18, 19. I don't answer. Let her call Damon. Let her explain to her parents why her husband just served her divorce papers on Christmas night. Let her figure out how she's getting home without her car. Let her understand what it feels like to be left behind. Danny's couch isn't comfortable, but I've slept in worse places. Military training has its benefits. I wake up at 6 a.m. sharp, same as always, and make coffee in his kitchen while he snores upstairs. My phone shows 43 missed calls from Tessa, 12 from Maren, and 6 from Margaret. No voicemails. What could they possibly say? I drive to my office early. Cybersecurity consulting pays well, especially when you're good at finding things people want to hide. The irony isn't lost on me. My assistant Jennifer won't be in until Monday, so I have the place to myself. Perfect. I need to dig deeper, and I need to do it legally. Everything I find has to be admissible if this goes to court. Our joint phone account gives me access to detailed records, not just call logs but text message metadata, data usage, location services. All perfectly legal since my name's on the account. I start with October. The month everything changed. Location data shows Tessa's phone at the Marriott downtown for 3 hours on October 15th, the day she claimed to have food poisoning. Damon's phone was there too, same time frame. November 3rd, both phones at a restaurant across town. She told me she was working late. November 18th, the Riverside Motel. Classy. She said she was shopping with Maren. December 10th, his apartment. She was supposedly at book club. I print everything. Maps, timestamps, call logs. The pattern is so clear it's almost insulting. Did she think I was stupid, or did she just stop caring whether I noticed? My computer chimes with an email. Maren. Cole, please call me. Tessa's a mess. Mom and Dad are freaking out. We need to talk. I delete it without responding. Another email, this one from Tessa herself. I can explain everything. Please come home. We can work this out. Work what out? The affair? The lies? The fact that she's been planning to leave me for months while I've been planning our future? I delete that one too. The office phone rings. Jennifer's extension, but she's not here. Someone's calling the main line. Velden Security Consulting. Cole, thank God. It's Margaret. Tessa's mother. Of course. Hi, Margaret. Cole, sweetheart. I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. Tessa says you think she's been... that you think she's... She can't bring herself to say it. Having an affair with Damon Harlow? That's not what I think, Margaret. That's what I know. Silence on the other end. The evidence is pretty clear. 847 phone calls this year. Hotel visits, restaurant meetings. Want me to email you the documentation? Cole, you're being ridiculous. Damon is just a friend. They work in related industries. They have professional... Margaret, I've got GPS data showing their phones at the Riverside Motel for 2 hours last Tuesday. Unless they were conducting a business meeting in a room that rents by the hour, I think we both know what was happening. Another long silence. Even if there was some inappropriate behavior, don't you think divorce is a bit extreme? You've been married for 6 years. Surely you can work through this. Would you work through it if you found out Robert was cheating? That's different. How? She hangs up. I spend the morning organizing evidence into folders, financial records showing unusual credit card charges, phone records, location data, email metadata from our shared iCloud account. The picture that emerges is of a woman who's been living a double life for months, maybe longer. I find restaurant charges on days she claimed to be working late, hotel charges on days she said she was shopping, spa treatments I never heard about, lingerie purchases from stores she's never mentioned, all paid for with our joint credit card. She was using my money to finance her affair. The really insulting part? She wasn't even trying to hide it. She just assumed I wouldn't look, wouldn't question, wouldn't notice. She assumed I was the same trusting fool who married her 6 years ago. She was wrong. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Damon. We need to talk. I stare at the message for a long moment. Then I type back, no, we don't. Look, I know you're upset, but there are things you don't understand. I understand plenty. Stay away from my wife. She's not your wife anymore, remember? You filed for divorce. The arrogance is breathtaking. This man has been sleeping with my wife for months, and now he's lecturing me about my marriage? You're right, I type back. She's all yours. Good luck with that. I block his number and get back to work. By noon, I have a complete timeline of the affair. It started in September, right after Labor Day. That weekend, Tessa went to visit her college friend in Chicago. She was with Damon in a downtown hotel. The business conference in October? No conference. Just 3 days with Damon at a resort upstate. The family emergency in November that made her miss my birthday dinner? Damon's birthday. She spent it with him. Every lie documented. Every deception cataloged. Every betrayal time-stamped and geotagged. I should feel angry. Instead, I feel something colder, more focused. I make copies of everything and store them in 3 different locations. Then I start making phone calls. First, to my lawyer. Tom Bradley's been handling business contracts for me for years. He's discreet, thorough, and doesn't ask unnecessary questions. Cole, I wasn't expecting to hear from you until after New Year's. Change of plans. I need those divorce papers served as soon as possible. It's the day after Christmas. Most process servers are, I'll pay extra. How much extra? Whatever it takes. Tom pauses. This is really what you want? No counseling? No trial separation? Tom, I've got documentation of an affair going back months. GPS data, hotel receipts, phone records. This isn't a marriage worth saving. All right, I'll make some calls. Should have someone at her location by this afternoon. She's probably at her parents' house. I'll text you the address. Cole, you sound different. Are you okay? I'm fine. Better than fine. I'm thinking clearly for the first time in months. Next, I call my bank. Joint accounts need to be handled carefully, but I can protect my assets without doing anything illegal. I need to remove someone from my accounts, I tell the manager. Divorce situation? Filed yesterday. I'll need to see the paperwork, but we can freeze joint accounts and establish new individual accounts. When can you come in? This afternoon. The third call is to my credit card company. Same story. Freeze the joint cards, issue new ones in my name only. By 3 p.m., Tessa's financial access is completely cut off. She can't use our credit cards, can't access our savings, can't write checks on our joint account. She'll figure it out soon enough. My phone starts ringing at 3:15. Tessa. Again. I let it go to voicemail this time. Cole. What did you do? My cards aren't working. I can't access our account. This is insane. Call me back right now. The panic in her voice is satisfying in a way I didn't expect. I drive to Danny's house and find him in the garage, working on that same engine. How'd it go? He asks without looking up. Papers are being served this afternoon. Accounts are frozen. She's officially cut off. Fast work. I've been planning this for weeks. Just needed the right moment. Danny straightens up and looks at me. You sure about this? No second thoughts? You want to see the evidence? I show him some of the printouts, the hotel visits, the restaurant meetings, the timeline of lies. Danny whistles low. She wasn't even trying to hide it. That's what I thought, like she assumed I'd never figure it out, or like she wanted you to figure it out. That stops me cold. What do you mean? Think about it. She's smart, right? Knows you work in cybersecurity, knows you understand technology, but she's using joint credit cards for hotel rooms, leaving location services on, taking calls at the dinner table. You think she wanted to get caught? I think she was too much of a coward to ask for a divorce herself, so she pushed and pushed until you'd do it for her. The idea sits in my stomach like a stone. All this time I thought I was uncovering her deception. What if I was just following a trail she left for me? What if this whole thing was planned? My phone buzzes. Text from Maren. She's been served. She's hysterical. Please call. I show Danny the message. You going to call? No, but I am going to pay her a visit. Maren lives in a downtown apartment, the kind of trendy converted warehouse that costs more than most people's mortgages. I park across the street and watch the windows for movement. Tessa's car isn't here, but then again, it's still in Danny's garage. She must have gotten a ride. I wait until 7 p.m., then walk up to the building and buzz Maren's apartment. Who is it? It's Cole. Long pause. Cole, I don't think... Buzz me up, Maren. We need to talk. The door clicks open. Maren's waiting in her doorway when I reach the third floor. She looks terrible, pale, exhausted like she hasn't slept in days. "She's not here," she says immediately. "I know. I want to talk to you. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. In fact, I think it's long overdue." Maren steps aside reluctantly and lets me into her apartment. It's exactly what I expected. Expensive furniture, abstract art, everything chosen for style over comfort. "Where is she?" I ask. "Mom and Dad's. She's not doing well, Cole." "I imagine not. Having your affair exposed on Christmas tends to ruin the holiday spirit." Maren flinches. "It's not what you think." "Really? Then explain it to me. Explain the hotel visits, the restaurant meetings, the 3-hour phone calls. Explain why my wife has been lying to me for months while planning to leave." "She wasn't planning to leave. She was confused. Damon was pressuring her, and she didn't know what to do. So she decided to do both? Stay married to me while sleeping with him?" "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like, Maren? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like my wife has been having an affair while her sister helped cover for her." Maren's face crumples. "I told her to stop. I told her she was making a mistake. But she said she loved him, and she was going to figure out how to handle it." "Handle it? Like it was a business problem?" "She was scared, Cole. Scared of hurting you, scared of disappointing Mom and Dad, scared of making the wrong choice. So she made every wrong choice instead." I walk to Maren's window and look down at the street. A few people walking their dogs, couples heading to dinner, normal people living normal lives. "How long have you known?" I ask. "Since October." "And you said nothing." "She's my sister." "I thought I was your friend." "You are. You were. This is just complicated." I turn back to face her. "It's not complicated, Maren. It's simple. She's been cheating. You've been lying. And I've been the fool who trusted both of you." Maren starts crying. Real tears. Not the manipulative kind Tessa uses when she wants something. "I'm sorry, Cole. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't betray her. Instead, you betrayed me. I know, and I hate myself for it." I believe her. That's the thing about Maren. She's never been a good liar. Not like her sister. "Tell me about Damon," I say. "What about him? How long has she known him?" "They dated in college, before you. It was serious back then." "How serious?" Maren hesitates. "They were engaged." The room goes quiet. Outside, a car horn honks. Someone laughs. Life goes on. "Engaged," I repeat. "For about 6 months. Then he got a job offer in California and wanted her to move with him. She wouldn't leave her family, so they broke up. And now he's back. He moved back in August, started his own real estate development company. He looked her up on social media. And she forgot to mention that she was married. No, he knew. He didn't care. The casual way she says it hits me like a punch. He knew she was married and pursued her anyway. She knew I existed and went along with it." "Where does he live?" "Cole, don't. Where does he live, Maren?" "The Meridian Building, downtown. But Cole, please don't do anything stupid." "Stupid like what? Like trusting my wife? Like believing her lies? Like thinking my marriage meant something? Like confronting him? He's not a good person, Cole." "What do you mean?" Maren sits down heavily on her couch. "He's manipulative. Controlling. Back in college, he was obsessed with her. When she wouldn't move to California, he made her life miserable for months. Calling constantly, showing up at her apartment, telling everyone she was making a mistake." Sounds familiar. Tessa's not thinking clearly. She remembers the good parts of their relationship, but she's forgotten how bad it got at the end. That's not my problem anymore. It could be. He's the type who doesn't let go easily. And now that I've filed for divorce, she's free to be with him. Problem solved. You don't understand. He doesn't want her to be free. He wants to win. Having an affair was exciting because it was secret, Because he was taking her away from you. If she's actually available, he'll lose interest. I stare at Maren. Are you saying he pursued a married woman just for the challenge? I'm saying Damon Harlow likes to take things that belong to other people. Always has. The pieces start falling into place. The timing of the affair, the careless way Tessa covered her tracks, the expensive gifts I found receipts for, gifts that never made it home. He's using her, I say. Yes. And she doesn't see it. She sees what she wants to see. The successful businessman who says he's always loved her, the exciting secret relationship, the fantasy of starting over. But not the reality. The reality is that he's already getting bored. She mentioned that he's been distant lately, less available. I think he's already moving on to his next conquest. I walk back to the window. The street's emptier now, just a few cars and the occasional pedestrian. You know what the really sick part is? I say. What? Part of me wants to warn her. Even after everything she's done, part of me wants to protect her from him. That's because you're a good person, Cole. Better than she deserves. No, it's because I'm an idiot who still loves his cheating wife. Love doesn't just disappear overnight. Maybe it should. I turn back to Maren. I need something from you. What? I need you to give her a message. Cole, tell her I want to meet. Tomorrow night. Somewhere public. Why? Because this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Maren looks scared. What are you planning? I'm planning to give my wife exactly what she wants. Which is? Freedom. But she's going to pay for it first. I head for the door, then stop and look back. Oh, and Maren? Next time your sister asks you to lie for her, remember how this felt. Remember what it cost. I leave her sitting on her expensive couch in her expensive apartment, crying for a sister who wouldn't do the same for her. Outside, the snows started falling again. Big, fat flakes that stick to my windshield and make the world look clean and new. But some stains don't wash away that easily. The Riverside Diner sits on the edge of town, the kind of place that serves coffee in heavy white mugs and pie that tastes like someone's grandmother made it. I arrive 15 minutes early and choose a booth in the back where I can see the entire restaurant. Tessa walks in at exactly 8 p.m. She's always been punctual, I'll give her that. She looks terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, wearing jeans and a sweater instead of her usual carefully coordinated outfits. Good. Let her see what betrayal looks like. She spots me and walks over slowly, like she's approaching a dangerous animal. Hi, she says, sliding into the booth across from me. Hi. The waitress comes over, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and sensible shoes. What can I get you folks? Coffee, Tessa says. Just coffee. Same, I tell the waitress. We sit in silence until the coffee arrives. Tessa wraps her hands around her mug like she's trying to warm herself from the inside out. You look good, she says finally. Thanks, honesty suits me. She flinches. Cole, I know you're angry. Angry? No, Tessa. Angry was when I found the first hotel receipt. Angry was when I realized you were lying about working late. This is something else entirely. What is it? Clarity. She takes a sip of coffee and makes a face. Diner coffee isn't up to her usual standards. Nothing in her life is going to be up to her usual standards anymore. I want to explain, she says. Go ahead. It wasn't supposed to happen. Damon contacted me in August just to catch up. We met for coffee, just as friends. But then you remembered why you were engaged to him in college. Her eyes widen. Maren told you. Maren told me a lot of things. Like how he pursued you even though he knew you were married. Like how he's done this before with other women. Like how he gets bored once the challenge is gone. That's not true. Which part? Any of it. All of it. Damon's changed since college. He's more mature now, more focused. And he loves me. He loves the idea of taking you away from me. There's a difference. Tessa shakes her head. You don't know him. I know enough. I know he convinced you to meet him at hotels. I know he convinced you to lie to your husband. I know he convinced you to use our joint credit card to pay for your affair. I was going to pay that back. With what money? The money you make at the job you're about to lose? Her face goes pale. What are you talking about? Your company has a morality clause in their employee handbook. Adultery reflects poorly on the organization, especially when it involves using company time and resources for personal meetings. You wouldn't. I don't have to. Your boss already knows. It's a bluff, but a good one. Tessa's always been paranoid about her professional reputation. How? Hotel receipts during business hours, phone records showing personal calls during meetings. It wasn't hard to piece together. Tessa starts crying. Real tears this time, not the calculated kind. Cole, please. I made a mistake, a huge mistake. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling, work through it. Like you worked through it with Damon at the Marriott? That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been asking for a divorce before you started sleeping with someone else. Fair would have been honest communication about problems in our marriage. Fair would have been treating me with basic human respect. I do respect you. You used my money to finance your affair. I was confused. You were selfish. The waitress comes by to refill our coffee. She takes one look at Tessa's tear-streaked face and moves on quickly. What do you want from me? Tessa asks. Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you anymore. Then why did you ask me to meet you here? Because I wanted to see if you'd tell the truth, if you'd own up to what you did, if you'd show even a shred of genuine remorse. I am sorry. I'm so sorry, Cole. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. Tessa leans forward. That's not true. I've been miserable for months. Guilt was eating me alive. But not miserable enough to stop. I tried to stop. I broke it off with Damon twice. But you kept going back. Yes. Why? She's quiet for a long time. Outside, the snow's still falling, covering the parking lot in a clean white blanket. Because he made me feel alive again, she says finally. Like I mattered. Like I was special. And I didn't? You made me feel safe, comfortable, but not excited. There it is. The truth under all the lies and justifications. I wasn't exciting enough. Our marriage wasn't thrilling enough. So she went looking for thrills elsewhere. I see. Cole? That came out wrong? No, it came out exactly right. You were bored, so you had an affair. At least we're being honest now. It wasn't just boredom. What was it then? We grew apart. We stopped talking, stopped really seeing each other. You were always working, always focused on your business. I felt invisible. So you made yourself visible to someone else. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Every time you met him, every time you lied to me, every time you used our money to pay for hotel rooms, those were all choices. Tessa's crying harder now. I know, and I hate myself for it. Good. You should. I stand up and drop a $10 bill on the table. Where are you going? Home. My home. You can figure out where you're staying. Cole, wait, please. Can't we try to work this out? I look down at her. 6 years of marriage, 6 years of building a life together, 6 years that she threw away for excitement. No, I say. We can't. Why not? Because I don't trust you anymore, and without trust we have nothing. I walk toward the door, then stop and turn back. Oh, and Tessa, you might want to call Damon. Ask him about the other women he's been seeing while you two were having your great love affair. Her face goes white. What other women? Ask him about Jennifer Martinez, and Sarah Chen, and the blonde from his office whose name I didn't catch. It's another bluff. but the look on her face tells me I hit close to home. You're lying. Am I? When's the last time he took you somewhere public? When's the last time he mentioned introducing you to his friends? When's the last time he talked about a future together? Tessa doesn't answer. He's using you, Tessa. And when he's done, he'll move on to the next married woman who thinks she's special. I leave her sitting in the booth, staring into her coffee cup like it holds answers to questions she's afraid to ask. Outside, the snow crunches under my feet as I walk to my truck. The air is clean and cold, and for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. 3 days later, I'm in my office when Jennifer buzzes me. Cole, there's a Damon Harlow here to see you. Says it's urgent. I look up from the client proposal I've been working on. Send him in. Damon Harlow is exactly what I expected. Expensive suit, perfect hair, the kind of confident smile that comes from a lifetime of getting what he wants. He's taller than me, broader through the shoulders, with the kind of easy charm that women find irresistible. I can see why Tessa fell for him. Cole Velden? He extends his hand. Damon Harlow. I don't shake it. I know who you are. He drops his hand and sits down without being invited. We need to talk. No, we don't. I think we do. This situation has gotten out of hand. Which situation is that? Tessa, the divorce, this whole mess? I lean back in my chair. What about it? Look, I know you're upset. I get it. But Tessa and I, what we have is real. We're in love. Congratulations. The thing is, she's having second thoughts about the divorce. She thinks maybe you two can work things out. And you're here to what? Talk me out of trying to save my marriage? I'm here to tell you that she doesn't love you anymore. She loves me, and dragging this out isn't good for anyone. The arrogance is breathtaking. This man destroyed my marriage, and now he's sitting in my office telling me to make it easier for him. Interesting perspective, I say. Tell me something, Damon. How many other married women are you currently sleeping with? His confident smile falters slightly. What? It's a simple question. Is Tessa the only married woman you're having an affair with, or are there others? I don't know what you're talking about. Jennifer Martinez, Sarah Chen, the blonde from your office, ring any bells? Now the smile disappears entirely. You've been investigating me? I've been protecting my interests. Amazing what you can find with the right resources. It's still a bluff, but his reaction tells me I'm on the right track. Those women mean nothing to me. I'm sure they don't. Just like Tessa will mean nothing to you once the novelty wears off. Damon stands up. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Let me tell you what I think happened. You moved back to town, looked up your old girlfriend, discovered she was married. That made her more interesting, didn't it? The forbidden fruit. The challenge. It wasn't like that. So you pursued her, convinced her to meet you for coffee, reminded her of the good old days, made her feel special, desired, alive, all while knowing she was married to someone else. She was unhappy in her marriage. She was bored in her marriage. There's a difference. I stand up and walk around my desk, stopping just close enough to make him uncomfortable. But here's the thing, Damon. Now that I've filed for divorce, she's going to be available, free to be with you openly. No more sneaking around, no more secret meetings, just you and her building a life together. That's what we want. Is it? Because my sources tell me you've been distancing yourself lately. Fewer calls, fewer meetings, almost like you're losing interest now that the game is almost over. Your sources are wrong. Are they? When's the last time you took her somewhere public? When's the last time you introduced her to your friends? When's the last time you talked about moving in together? Damon doesn't answer. She's going to figure it out eventually, I continue. She's going to realize that you never wanted a relationship with her. You just wanted to win. You wanted to take something that belonged to someone else. She doesn't belong to you. No, she doesn't. Not anymore. But she doesn't belong to you either. She's just another conquest. Another trophy. Another married woman who thought she was special. Damon's face is red now. Angry. Good. You're wrong about me. And you're wrong about Tessa. We love each other. Then prove it. Marry her. Move in with her. Introduce her to your family. Build a life with her. Maybe I will. No, you won't. Because that would require actually caring about her instead of just wanting to win. Damon heads for the door, then stops and turns back. You know what your problem is, Cole? You're a loser. You always were. Tessa figured that out, and now she's moving on to someone better. Maybe, but at least I'm not the kind of man who destroys marriages for sport. I didn't destroy your marriage. You did. By being boring, by taking her for granted, by not being enough for her. He's trying to get under my skin, and part of me wants to let him. Part of me wants to hit him, to make him pay physically for what he's done. But that's not how this ends. You're right, I say. I wasn't enough for her, but neither are you. The difference is, I loved her enough to try to make her happy. You just love the idea of taking her away from someone else. Damon leaves without another word. I sit back down at my desk and pull out my phone. Time to make a call. Maren, it's Cole. I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to ask Tessa about Damon's other girlfriends. Cole, I don't think... Ask her when she last saw him. Ask her when they last talked about the future. Ask her if she's noticed him pulling away. Silence on the other end. Maren? She has noticed. She's been crying for 2 days because he's not returning her calls. And she still doesn't see what's happening? She thinks it's because of the stress from the divorce. She thinks he's giving her space to work things out with you. Even though she doesn't want to work things out with me? She's confused, Cole. She doesn't know what she wants. Yes, she does. She wants excitement. She wants to feel special. She wants someone to choose her. And Damon's not doing that anymore. Damon never was doing that. He was just playing a game and she was too flattered to see it. I hang up and stare out my office window. Snow's falling again, covering the parking lot in fresh white powder. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. Damon, probably. Angry that I saw through his act. Angry that someone finally called him out. I delete the message and get back to work. But he's right about one thing. This isn't over. The call comes at 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve. I'm sitting in Danny's living room watching the ball drop on TV and drinking beer that tastes like disappointment. Cole? Tessa's voice is barely a whisper. Can you come get me? Where are you? The Riverside Motel, room 12. The same motel where she met Damon. The irony would be funny if it weren't so pathetic. What happened? Please just come, I'll explain everything. I should hang up. I should let her figure out her own transportation, her own problems, her own life. She made her choices. But she sounds broken in a way I've never heard before. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The motel is exactly what you'd expect. Neon sign with half the letters burned out, parking lot full of potholes, the kind of place where people go to hide from their lives. I knock on the door of room 12. It's open, Tessa calls. She's sitting on the edge of the bed, still wearing the dress she probably put on for a New Year's Eve celebration that didn't happen. Her makeup is smeared, her hair is a mess, and she looks smaller somehow. Diminished. What happened? I ask. He's married. I sit down in the room's single chair, a threadbare recliner that's seen better decades. Damon? His wife lives in California. They never got divorced. He's been lying to me for months. How did you find out? She called me. Tonight. Said she'd been tracking his phone, found my number. She wanted to know how long I'd been sleeping with her husband. Tessa starts crying again. But these aren't the manipulative tears she used to use to get her way. These are the tears of someone whose world has just collapsed. She's been dealing with this for years, Tessa continues. Other women, other affairs. She said I was just the latest in a long line of married women he's seduced. I'm sorry. Are you? Really? I think about it. Am I sorry that the man who destroyed my marriage turned out to be a serial cheater? Am I sorry that Tessa finally sees him for what he is? I'm sorry you're hurt, I say finally. I'm sorry you believed his lies. But I'm not sorry you found out the truth. I threw away our marriage for a man who was never going to leave his wife. You threw away our marriage because you were bored and selfish. Damon was just the excuse. She flinches like I slapped her. That's not true. Isn't it? If it hadn't been Damon, it would have been someone else. Some other man who made you feel special, who gave you the excitement you thought you were missing. I loved him. You loved the idea of him. You loved the fantasy he sold you. But you never really knew him. Tessa wipes her eyes with a tissue that's already soaked through. His wife said he does this every few years, finds a married woman, convinces her she's the love of his life, gets her to leave her husband, then he disappears back to California until the heat dies down. And you believed him when he said you were different. I wanted to believe him. Because it was easier than admitting you were just bored with your life. We sit in silence for a while. Outside, someone's setting off fireworks. Probably the only celebration happening in this part of town. I know you hate me, Tessa says. I don't hate you. Then what? I don't feel anything for you. That's worse than hate. She starts crying harder. I ruined everything, didn't I? Yes. Is there any way we can try again? Start over? I look at her sitting on that motel bed, mascara streaked down her cheeks, wearing a dress she bought for a celebration with another man. No. Why not? Because I don't trust you. Because you threw away 6 years of marriage for a few months of excitement. Because when things got difficult, instead of talking to me, you ran to someone else. I made a mistake. You made a choice, multiple choices, and now you have to live with the consequences. So that's it? 6 years of marriage, and you're just walking away? I'm not walking away, Tessa. You walked away months ago. I'm just finally accepting it. I stand up and head for the door. How am I supposed to get home? Call a cab. Call your sister. Call your parents. Figure it out. Cole, please. Don't leave me here. I stop with my hand on the doorknob. You left me months ago, I say without turning around. In every way that mattered. Now you know how it feels. I walk out into the cold night air and drive home to Danny's house, where I sleep better than I have in months. The divorce is finalized 6 weeks later. Tessa doesn't contest it. She moves back in with her parents and gets a job at a smaller company for less money. I hear through Maren that she's in therapy, trying to figure out how she became the kind of person who destroys her own life for a fantasy. I hope it helps her. I really do. But that's not my problem anymore. I buy a new house across town, smaller than the one Tessa and I shared, but it's mine. No joint accounts, no shared histories, no lies hiding in the corners. On Valentine's Day, I get a card in the mail, no return address, but I recognize the handwriting. I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you can forgive me. T. I throw it away without reading it twice. Some apologies come too late. Some trust, once broken, can't be repaired. Some marriages, once betrayed, can't be saved. And sometimes, the best thing you can do is walk away and build something new. Something honest. Something real. Something that belongs only to you.